ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये आराध्यो भगवान् ब्रजेशतनयस्तद्धाम वृन्दावनं रम्या काचिदुपासना ब्रजवधो वर्गेण या कल्पिता श्रीमद्भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेमा पुमर्थो महान् श्रीचैतन्यमहाप्रभोर्मतमिदं तत्रादर न परः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यैश्वरम्। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we welcome you all on this auspicious day of Putrada Ekadashi, Vaikuntha Ekadashi also. Today is a very auspicious day. It is one of the most beloved tithis or beloved moments in this on the calendar, tithis for Sri Bhagavan. The Lord very much is pleased by one who fasts and one who prays and one who glorifies the Lord, especially on this day of Ekadashi. So we are very fortunate to be able to have satsanga, to be able to discuss about Krishna together. Whether it's online, that's secondary, but we are getting this great fortune, great saubhagya, to discuss about the glories of Sri Bhagavan from the Bhagavad-gītā itself, which has been mercifully given to us by the Lord himself. Yes, the Bhagavad-gītā is not only someone saying things about the Lord, or the Shastra is saying, or even Vyasa, Maharishi Vyasa, who has written all these Vedic Shastras, someone is saying about Sri Bhagavan. No, the Bhagavad-gītā, directly translated, is what? The song of God. No one knows God more than God himself. Yes. So we are very fortunate to be able to discuss the words of God, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, and how to know him, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati, how to serve him, and how to ultimately liberate ourselves and engage ourselves in his loving devotional service. Yes. So like that, that is the mood of this series, that we are trying to nourish ourselves and everyone else who joins this series, life lessons from the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So continuing on with this series, today we are discussing again a very, very powerful shloka. I feel like I say this every time because every verse, every shloka of the Srimad Bhagavad-gītā is such nectar. Yes, but this one especially, it is, I was reading this right before the class, and it is something that we can have an extensive discussion on, and it is so nourishing, so thought-provoking, So thought-provoking. So let us dive into it. Let us read the verse itself, the translation, and then the purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we are reading text number 14 from the second chapter, 2.14. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaham agama-payino nityas tam stitikshvasva bharata. Translation. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Wonderful shloka. Srila Prabhupada's purport. In the proper discharge of duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearances and disappearances of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magha, January, February. It is very cold at that time, but in spite of a man who abides by religious principles does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the months of May and June, the hottest part of the summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconveniences. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of the Kshatriyas. And although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge. Because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya or illusion. The two different names to address given to Arjuna signifies his great blood relations from his mother's side, and to address him as Bharata signifies his greatness from his father's side. From both sides, he is supposed to have great heritage. A great heritage brings responsibility in the power of proper discharge of duties. Therefore, he cannot avoid fighting. So, speaking contextually of what is happening here, of course, in the past couple of sessions also, it's just like 2.12, 2.13, and now 2.14, the Lord is telling Arjuna to rise above his understanding that he is only limited to the body. The Lord is inspiring Arjuna, instructing Arjuna, after Arjuna has surrendered to him. Shishyasteham shadimam tam prapannam. When Arjuna fully says that, my Lord, I'm like your disciple. I'm your shishya. I surrender unto you fully. Please guide me. Please tell me. In that mood, when Arjuna completely surrenders himself to the Lord, Krishna takes matters into his own hands. Krishna, now shloka after shloka, verse after verse, is establishing to Arjuna to rise above his sense perception. Now, what does sense perception mean? Sense perception means that we are only limiting our understandings, our experiences, and our goals to this body, and that is why we are being captured by this illusion of happiness and distress. This is the matter of discussion for this specific shloka. Let's read the translation again. The Lord is telling Arjuna. Arjuna is known as the son of Kunti. His mother was Kunti, so Arjuna is known as the son of Kunti. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course of time are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. Such a wonderful analogy. The Bhagavad-gītā is not a theoretical text. Neither is it, in some ways we can even say that it's not even a religious text. Yes, because the Lord does not just talk theory. With discussion of Shastra in Vedic times, also there were many Shastric debates and sitting and grammar and whatnot and discussing about Shastra. But the Lord does not encourage that. The Bhagavad-gītā does not encourage that. What does the Bhagavad-gītā encourage? The Bhagavad-gītā encourages practical application of spiritual principles in our lives to uplift us, to make us happy. Yes, that's why the Lord gives such beautiful analogies. What is he saying? That our happiness and distress, so this is specifically talking to Arjuna, but these are all instructions to us, because the Lord teaches us through his dear devotees. He tells Arjuna that these appearances of happiness and distress in one's life are like the summer and winter seasons. Yes. When the summer comes, we know that we can expect winter to come also. Yes? Similarly, dear devotees, when we face distress, we must know that we can expect happiness to come. When we face happiness, we should also know that we can expect distress to come, because that is the non-permanent, dual, and temporary nature of this world. And that is also confirmed in many, many other Bhagavad-gītā shlokas. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. We repeat this so often. It's like when the Lord created this universe, as if, we create products in this material world. And when we create products, we usually stamp them with a QR code or a barcode. Similarly, when the Lord created this universe, many universes of, when he created this material manifestation, what did the Lord stamp it with? The Lord stamped it with something that said, this is temporary and this is full of misery. Yes. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Now, it's like us looking for permanent happiness in this world is like, finding something when it's not there. That is foolishness. That is foolishness. That is what this shloka is saying. That in our lives, we may go through happiness, we may go through distress, but one who is adhira, that word is used many times also in the Bhagavad-gītā, one who is learned, agama paino nityas tam stitikshvasva bharata. One must tolerate. One must become tolerant. Tarori vasahishnunam. One must become tolerant as a tree is tolerant. As a tree is tolerant. Yes. Now, speaking of happiness and distress, our whole endeavor in this world, if we really think about it, whether it's material or spiritual even, our whole endeavor in this world is to become happy. Let's be honest with ourselves. We go to school, we get married, we earn, we even, look after our families or look after ourselves, even eating or even sleeping or even going to the gym. What is the end goal, dear devotees? You tell me. If I reflect on this on a personal level, I can see that the end goal of everything that I do or I want to do in this life is to become happy. Yes. Nevertheless, although we have expounded so many ways to become happy, so many ways to try to satisfy our this longing for happiness, whether that be, these days, scientists, they're trying to go to the moon, or speaking of the yogis on the Himalayas, or people into some mystic powers, they're trying to get mystic powers to become happy, to achieve something that will, again, facilitate their happiness. So many material endeavors. And then the Vedic scriptures outline also that many people, they perform sadhana or perform these ritualistic activities to get somarasa, or some nectar from the moon. That is this process also there in the Vedic scriptures. Again, to become happy, to achieve bliss. But in the end, let us all reflect personally, how successful have we been in our lives, and how successful do we see ourselves being materially happy, endeavoring materially. Matter of reflection. So far, and I've seen with myself or with others, or people who have thoroughly lived their lives, whether they be rich or they be poor or they be in comfort or discomfort, at the end of life, nothing material has ever satisfied them. Or if it has been for temporary moment. It has been very, very, it's temporary. That is the reality of this material existence. Yes. That is why, dear devotees, we are encouraged. We are told by the Lord and his devotees, who come so mercifully to give us this knowledge, that do something for your eternal happiness. As the soul, we are not meant to suffer. One very beautiful statement I really like is, suffering is not natural. Yes. In our material life, we have suffering and happiness. We have temporary suffering, and we also have temporary happiness. But regardless, both of these can be classified as suffering. How can we classify that happiness as happiness, which in a very short amount of time is about to turn into distress? It is like, licking honey off a blade. Yes, it may be sweet, but it's the blood is about to come. That is a reality. That is material that is material happiness and material distress. They're both on the same level. Yes. There's one beautiful shloka, also quoted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It goes like this: Bhagavad-bhakti-hinasya jati shastram japastapaham apranasyev dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. That you may have jati, you may be born in a big family with, a nice, either that be brahmanas or materially speaking, a family of rich men, a rich family, or speaking in the Vedic terms, in the terms of varnashrama, one may be born in the family of brahmanas. Jati, shastram, japas, tapas. You may have all these material qualities that somehow or other ensure material happiness. Having knowledge of Shastra, whether that be spiritual or material, that gives you some, gives you some qualification, which may make it easier for you to be happy. Jati, being born in a big family or a great family. Shastram, having knowledge. Japas, having japa and tapa, being very religiously inclined even. But dear devotees, if it's Bhagavad-bhakti-hinasya, if it is not lead you or does not engage you in the devotional service of the Lord, that means if it does not lead you to act on the platform of the soul, then ultimately it is mandanam lokaranjanam. It is simply like decorating apranasyeva dehasya. It is simply like decorating a dead body. Actually, the life in our lives, the true happiness in our lives lies in serving the Lord. Yes. That is not a matter of theory. Practically experience it. I can say this because, yes, I have practically experienced this. Many devotees have. Everyone who is now performing devotional service and is fixed up somewhere, I don't think I'm fixed up, but by the mercy of Shri Guru, somehow or other, I can, at least this much I can say, that without Bhagavad Bhakti, without devotional service, without Krishna consciousness, no matter what I may have had in this life, or what I may have in this life, I can never be happy. The soul can never be happy. Never be happy. The soul is always longing for its master. The soul is always longing for its source. Soul is always longing for its source. And its merciful and most beautiful and most powerful and most opulent source is Lord Shri Krishna, Bhagavan. Yes. Without Bhagavad Bhakti hinasya, what is it? Apranasyeva dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. It is simply like decorating a dead body. If we have all facilities for material happiness, but we don't have devotional service to the Lord, again, it is like licking honey off of a blade. It may give you sweetness for a little bit. It may. Truthfully, honey is sweet, yes? It may give you sweetness. Your tongue, your taste receptors may feel some sweetness, but the next thing that's about to come, dear devotees, is that blood from your tongue, which the blade will cut. That is the truth of material life, yes? Srila Prabhupada, when he was lecturing about this specific shloka, this lecture was in New Mexico, Srila Prabhupada mentions, I'll just read it, actually spiritual body means eternal life of bliss and knowledge. This body which we are possessing now, the material body, it is neither eternal, nor blissful, nor full of knowledge. Every one of us knows this. Every one of us can realize this. Our body is not eternal. The fact that we have taken birth gives us the license to die. Yes, that is the reality. And neither it's eternal, nor it's blissful. This body is not blissful. This body is, it's what do you call it? What's that word? This body will over time deteriorate. It will get some diseases. It will be affected by its environment. This body is not blissful. Rather, it's more like a cage. If one comes to that level of spiritual understanding, you will realize this body is actually, it's kind of a workload, having this body even. And neither is this body full of knowledge. Our body is receptive to so many faults. So many faults. We say, some people say, show me God. Or some people say, until you show me God, I will not believe in God. But, we cannot even see the moon with our eyes. We need some instruments to see the moon, like a telescope. We cannot even fathom what atoms are with our body, with our senses. We cannot even fathom material objects. We cannot even completely understand material things with this body. How can we expect to understand the all-spiritual Lord with this body? How can we expect? Therefore, that requires some qualification. That requires some qualification, which is engaging in devotional service, acting on the platform of the soul. Srila Prabhupada continues that every one of us, we know that this material body will be finished. And it is full of ignorance. Two things. We know it's going to be finished and it's full of ignorance. Yes. Therefore, our endeavors for happiness in this world are actually seem useless. They're actually useless. Over-endeavors. Atyahara prayasascha. Over-endeavoring for material things is actually foolishness. Material happiness. Because in the end, material happiness is not permanent. That's already a downside. We are endeavoring for something that is temporary. Yes. There are many verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, such beautiful verses. They outline this fact, how we achieve happiness in this world, or how we achieve distress in this world without any endeavor. We can also achieve happiness without any endeavor, or we will achieve happiness without any endeavor. I'll just recite a verse. This is from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, verse number 18. Tasyaiva heto prayateta kovido na labhyate yadhramatamuparyadaham tallabhyate dukkhavadantya sukham kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasam. This is the discussion between Maharishi Vedavyasa and Shri Narada Muni. And Narada Muni is instructing Vyasadev about the truth of devotional service. What is he saying? Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, down to the lowest planet, Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. I cannot see many of you, so I can't see any of you, so I won't ask a question or to raise your hand, but on your own, in your own setting, reflect upon this. How many of us desire or endeavor for distress? Do we? None of us. We don't endeavor for distress. Do we go to school for distress? Do we go to work for distress? Do we have any specific engagements for us to get distress? No. But somehow or other, by this great arrangement, we are getting distress. How's that possible? Yes, this is the law of karma, dear devotees. We have been engaged in this in this material chakra, cycle of birth and death, lifetime after lifetime. We've had so many lifetimes. We have been doing so much karma, getting so much karma, bad karma, good karma, whatnot. Therefore, things that we go through in this life are not only results of what we did in our 20 years or 50 years or 40 years or 100 years of living in this lifetime. What we experience throughout this life is a token of the karma of things that either we are doing in this life or we've done in the past life or even 100 lives back. That is the cycle. That is how intricate. Srila Prabhupada says this cycle of karma is very intricate. Very intricate. It is very hard to analyze. Therefore, coming back, we do not endeavor for distress. We do not even, what to speak of over-endeavor, we do not endeavor for distress. Then why, dear devotees, do we over-endeavor for happiness in this life? Why? Kalena sarvatra gabhira ramhasa Tallabhyate dukhavad anyatah sukham. Without endeavoring, we are getting distress. So why will we not get happiness? We will get happiness. Material happiness and material distress, they're coming and going like the winter seasons, winter and summer seasons, as this verse is saying. That is just how, the cycle of karma works. We should not over-endeavor or overly be concerned with the situation of our body, with the situation of our mind, with the situations that we are put into, with the environments that we are in. We should not be over-attached. Because again, happiness and distress in life come and go like the winter and summer seasons. Yes. And again, dear devotees, the solution, like we already discussed, is Bhagavad Bhakti. When we act on the platform of the soul, it is like getting a bird's eye view of your whole life. You are not being affected on the platform of the body anymore. Even though your body may go through, so me as the body may go through happiness, or I may go through a whole lot of distress. What doesn't change is my position as the eternal servant, an eternal servant who has an eternal lovable object, who is eternal bliss, which is the Lord. That doesn't change, because that is the identification, that is the eternal position of the soul. That is unchangeable, regardless of any levels of happiness or distress we may go through in our lives. Yes, therefore Narad Muni is stating, again, the same siddhanta, or the same pillar of philosophy, that happiness will also come and go, just as distress comes and goes. Just as distress comes into our lives without extra endeavor, happiness will also come. It has been allotted. It has been allotted due to our past karmas, due to our past engagements in material activities, and of course, some religious or spiritual activities may give us some sukriti or some adhyatmika, spiritual karma, sukriti, pious results. We may also get that. But that is not a reason for us to over-endeavor. That is a reason for us to not endeavor so much. Yes. When we realize this, then one can actually focus on the real purpose of human life. Yes. When we know that this body will go through what it has to go through, this person will go through what has been said for it to go through due to the past activities performed, whether in this life or in past lives. When we come to this understanding, then we should become a little detached. Yes, we should understand that I am not the body. Something above this. And the dharma, or the sole purpose of that manifestation above this body, which is on the platform of the soul, is to gain eternal happiness. Yes. It is only in the human form of life that we get this opportunity to bring ourselves above this temporary journey of going through winter and summer seasons of happiness and distress. It is only in this human form of life. Dear devotees, you tell me, how many dogs and how many cats and how many horses are going to sit on a Google Meet on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. and discuss about how to liberate themselves, how to engage in devotional service? How many cats, dogs, and horses will do this? How many cats, dogs, and horses will go to Sunday feasts and for the desire of connecting themselves with Krishna, knowing about the absolute truth, dancing in kirtan for the pleasure of Krishna, eating prasad of Krishna? How many animals do you expect to even think about this? How many animals, or how many lower species, what to speak of just animals, how many fishes even will try to do this? Dear devotees, it is only in the human form of life where we have gotten this great opportunity to know our eternal relationship with the Lord, to know who is the Lord, to know that there is a power above us, to know that we can reciprocate with that person, to know that we can actually get happiness in this world. Actually, I've met some people even, we can personally go through this, and they say, they don't expect happiness anymore in this world. They've gone through so much. That for them, life is just live it and just get it done with. They no longer see purpose in life. Many such people are there. And we have, even in this world, especially in this part of the world, we have things like, low self-esteem, mental anxiety, emotional distress, so many things. Then we say, even in the presence of so many material comforts, so many material options for enjoyment. We have, if we say that material enjoyment comes from money, we have many examples of people with lots of money still distressed. If material enjoyment comes from family life, 99% of the world is married, and I doubt 99% of the world is happy. If we say material enjoyment comes from eating, varieties of food, then why is that enjoyment temporary? Why is it not eternal? Why are we still, after we satisfy ourselves, why are we still desiring that thing again? So we can come to the conclusion as just reflect ourselves. Not that someone will convince you about this. It's a matter of reflection. That truthfully speaking to ourselves, can we really expect to be happy in this world, materially? Can we? No, we can't. Especially when we are concerned with the body, it is impossible. It is impossible. It is the nature of the body to deteriorate. It is temporary. The body itself is temporary. How can it give you something eternal? How can it give you eternal happiness? But, dear devotees, the soul is eternal. The Lord is eternal. His devotional service is eternal. His devotees are eternal. And thus the happiness we receive in their association, in the happiness we receive when we connect with them, that is eternal. That is eternal. Yes, and it is only in the human form of life. It is only in the human form of life when we can even think that, okay, let me rise above this. Is there something above this? This is actually a process in our shastras, in our scriptures. This verse has come, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That when one becomes fortunate, absolutely fortunate, then one thinks, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. That who is Brahman? Who is the Lord? What is my relationship with him? How do I get this eternal happiness? Even though this body may go through happiness, distress, enjoyment, distress, sadness, low self-esteem, whatnot, this body, this mind may go through. But that soul, what is that soul craving? That eternal happiness. How do I satisfy that craving? When one comes to that platform of Athato Brahma Jigyasa, then one is known as absolutely fortunate, ultimately fortunate. And we have all, somehow or other, we are all either coming to that platform, have come to that platform, or are rising above and beyond even that platform of jigyasa. One simply comes with curiosity, but one is left with realization and reciprocation. That is devotional service. We come with curiosity. Most of us, all of us, we come with curiosity. Curiosity to know about the Lord. Curiosity to actually, the Lord is secondary when we first come, to be honest. First we come, how do we relieve our distress? How do we, even that to an extent, dear devotees, that is accurate, that is good. The son, no one but his father when he needs something. And that's valid, that is not looked down upon. The child goes to no one but his father when he needs something. Similarly, us as devotees, as souls who have been wandering in this world, lifetime after lifetime, going through so much. Dear devotees, think about it. Even in this life, how much we've gone through. We've gone through so much. What to speak of? Millions of lifetimes, we've gone through so much. That we can't remember by the mercy of the Lord, otherwise we'd probably go crazy. So many lifetimes, we've been through so much. In this lifetime also, we've been through so much. Let us liberate ourselves from this. Let us rise above this. And the process that has been outlined by the Lord himself to know him, to know eternal happiness, is bhakti. The path of eternal love, the path of devotional service. Yes, that is devotional service. If one performs devotional service and one is not happy, that means you're not doing devotional service. That means you're not doing devotional service. The first and foremost result of bhakti is susukham kartum abhyayam. The process in itself is eternally blissful. The result of the process is eternally blissful. We will never get such a process. We will never get such realization, such reciprocation, which we will get in devotional service. Yes. The devotional service of the Lord is so wonderful. so blissful, that no matter which, like Srila Prabhupada, actually, this was theory until Srila Prabhupada came. No matter which part of the world one is from, no matter where one was born or where one was cared for or what one has eaten or what one has done in one's life, dear devotees, when you come to the platform of devotional service, you are fortunate. You're fortunate. Yes. We are all, once you come here, we're all the same. We are all looked by the Lord as devotees. Krishna does not, he does not discriminate us based on our past or our previous engagements or our previous karma. No. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. One who completely surrenders unto Sri Bhagavan. This is the announcement of the Lord in the Bhagavad-gītā in the 18th chapter. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Who simply takes shelter of me alone. Krishna, Bhagavan, the Lord, once who completely surrenders unto me alone. For that person, there's no need to worry because I completely cleanse that soul, that person of all sins at that moment. Srila Prabhupada was once asked, how long does it take to surrender to Krishna or purify oneself? Prabhupada said, 1 moment. That was his answer. 1 moment. 1 moment. You give yourself 100% to Krishna at this moment and you are completely purified and you are ready to go back home, back to Godhead in the eternal service of Krishna. Complete surrender. Complete surrender. But yes, it is not that easy. We have our own desires, we have our own conditionings, we have our own environments that we are in due to, of course, our past karma. But that is why, dear devotees, this process of Bhakti Yoga is there to bring us to the platform of complete surrender to Krishna, complete cleansing of the heart, being completely drenched in happiness. Let's put it this way. That is devotional service. Devotional service is such a path that the process is blissful and the end is blissful. Yes, we will never get any process. Even as, see, the Vedic scriptures outline many processes. There's the process of Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Hatha Yoga. So many yogic, processes to know about the Lord, whether analytically, whether through some yogic postures. But even though their end may be, okay, you get some realization of the Lord in your heart, or you see the Lord in his form as the effulgence, as Brahmajyoti. They may get this at the end, but the path is definitely not smooth and definitely not blissful. This has been explained by the Lord in the Bhagavad-gītā 12th chapter as well, that those persons who approach his nirakara or his formless feature go through a great deal of distress. And although we may say, okay, even though they go through a lot of distress, they may achieve something. They do achieve some realization of the Lord, some transcendence they achieve, but it's not the topmost. The Bhagavatam outlines that the Lord is expressed. He expresses himself in 3 features. Brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdate. That there is Brahman, which is the effulgence of the Lord, which many people say that the Lord is formless. That attribution of the Lord to that formless is actually the Lord's effulgence. That formless exists it is functioning as the effulgence of the Lord. So that is Brahman. Then we have Brahmeti Paramatmeti. Then we have the Lord in everyone's heart. With every single living entity, the Lord is there. That is his form as Paramatma. And the yogis who meditate, who perform Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, different Vedic processes, which has been outlined in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad-gītā, they do this and they get some realization. They do get realization of the Lord as Paramatma. But the Lord himself in the Bhagavad-gītā, the last verse, after he describes all this, great difficult process of yoga, leave your house, go to the forest, get into these yogic postures and whatnot, for years and years of, hard, dry practice, at the end the Lord says in the 6th chapter, Yoginam api sarvesham madgate antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam samyuktatamo matah. That, again, coming back to the Bhagavatam verse as well, Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavan iti shabdate. One who worships the Lord, the topmost yogi, Yoginam api sarvesham Madgate antaratmanaha shraddhavan bhajate yomam. One who engages in bhajan or in devotional service, pure devotional service to the Lord calls him the topmost yogi. And why shall he not call him the topmost yogi? Because even practically we can see this. Devotees of the Lord live a blissful life. The process of devotional service is blissful. And the end result is also blissful. Krishna as a person whom you can serve, whom you can reciprocate with. The topmost realization of Godhead, which is only available on the path of devotional service. Yes. Many people have so many understandings of what is God. Many people have so many understandings. Even under the Vedic encompass of scriptures and understandings and analysis of the Shastra, we can see so many people see God as formless. So many people see God as someone very old. That of course coming from the Abrahamic religions, and so many people see God as a light or someone in the heart. But dear devotees, God is not limited only to a light. God is not limited only to being in our hearts. God can be the topmost blissful person that you can reciprocate with, that you can talk with, that you can express your heart with, and that you can relate with on the platform of the soul. And this can only be done by the process of devotional service, which is susukham kartum avyayam, which the process itself is blissful, and then the result also is blissful. That is the glory of devotional service. That is how we can achieve transcendental, eternal happiness in this life. Yes. The non-permanent happiness and distress in this world has also been explained by Shri Prahlad Maharaj, who in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam. This theme actually is very key and is very thought-provoking, like I mentioned when we started this class, that happiness and distress is a great matter of discussion, because it is something we go through every single day. Yes, and it is time now to rise above that. How many lifetimes will we waste? How many days of our lives will we waste? How many years will we waste being affected, being limited, being conditioned by these non-permanent appearances of happiness and distress in our lives? Shri Prahlad Maharaj, in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th chapter and the 3rd shloka, Shri Prahlad Maharaj states, Sukham aindriyakam daitya deha yogena dehinam sarvatra labhyate daivad yatha dukkham ayatnatah. Prahlad Maharaj is instructing his dear fellow friends in his school. This is Prahlad Maharaj at the very young age, a young age of 5, Kaumaram, which is described. Prahlad Maharaj states that, my dear friends, his friends were actually born of demoniac families. Of course, Hiranyakashipu being their king, and his friends, he was studying with them. So he's instructing his friends that the happiness perceived with reference to sense objects by contact with the body can be obtained in any form of life, according to one's past fruitive activities. Such happiness is automatically obtained without endeavor, just as we obtain distress. Again, the same Siddhanta, the same understanding that Narada Muni was giving to Maharishi Vyasa, Prahlad Maharaj outlines again that this happiness, which is this distress, which is obtained without any extra endeavor, is actually similar to that happiness which we also can obtain without any extra endeavor. Materially speaking, we should not be so attached to material happiness or distress, because again, it's like the seasons. It's going to come and go. It's going to come and go. We should be concerned with rising above all this. We should put an end to all this. Dear devotees, why shall we suffer? Why shall we suffer? We should not suffer. It is like we were discussing in the Shravanam Kirtanam camp. This was a very nice example, and everyone was kind of able to relate to it. We know these two, this famous, he's a rich person in India, and probably the richest person in Asia, Mukesh Ambani, that's his name. And his son is Anant Ambani, okay? Many of us may be familiar with that. How will we feel, or how will Anant Ambani feel, or how will Mukesh Ambani feel, let's keep it that way, if Anant Ambani is going on the streets with ripped clothes and begging to people for money? The son of the richest man in Asia is going out and begging outside for a few pennies. Why? Because he has forgotten his relationship with his father. If he forgets his relationship with his father, he's gonna think, oh, I'm on my own. How will I sustain myself? I have nothing. Simply because what? He has forgotten his relationship with his father. Dear devotees, we should not suffer. We should not put ourselves into this suffering, not in this life. Lifetime after lifetime we are doing this. We should not do that. When we re-establish our relationship with our eternal Father, who is already reciprocating love with us, who is already making arrangements for us, so many times in our lives we can experience the mercy of the Lord. That Lord is already reciprocating with us. Even the basic necessities of like food, water, air, we have. There is actually no scarcity in this world other than Krishna consciousness. To be fairly honest, this is a statement by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, that in this world, there's only one scarcity, that is the devotional service of the Lord. Aur kisi cheez ki kami nahi hai. It is actually due to the capitalistic understandings that hoarding and atyahara, as we call it, collecting more than necessary, which has caused even the scarcity of food and water. But again, that is the fault of the human civilization. The Lord has mercifully arranged everything for us, everything. We don't have to pay for this oxygen that we breathe. We don't have to pay. Like that, if we re-establish our relationship with our eternal Father, our eternal best friend, our eternal lover, in any relationship with the Lord that our soul may have, that our soul may reveal to have as we progress on this path of devotional service, if we re-establish that relationship, we no longer have to beg on the streets like Anant Ambani was doing in this example. Yes, he is only doing that because he has forgotten his relationship as the son of the richest man in Asia. And our eternal Father, our eternal, again, best friend, lover, however you may call him, our eternal benefactor, Lord Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he is not the richest man of Asia. He is the Lord of our hearts. He is Sarveshwara, Ishwaraha Paramaha Krishna. He is the Ishwara of the Ishwaras. He is the Lord of the Lords. He is the creator, the maintainer, the destroyer. He is everything. He is not simply the richest man of Asia. Still, if we come back to that relationship, if we remind ourselves through the process of devotional service that what our relationship with that eternally blissful personality who eternally loves us, if we remind ourselves of this eternal relationship and re-establish it, dear devotees, we have nothing to worry about. We have nothing to be distressed about. We will be easily captured by eternal happiness. Yes, we will be captured without any endeavor. We will experience such things in our lives. We will feel such gratefulness in our lives. And then when we practice on this path of devotional service, going step by step to different levels, to higher levels of realization, to higher levels of reciprocation with the Lord, we will feel Ashta Sattvika Vikar. This is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, even by the Acharyas, that when one becomes a pure devotee, his body starts trembling. He cries tears. Galad ashru dharaya, vadanam gadagada ruddhaya gira, pulakair nichitam vapuh kada tavanam grahane bhavishyati. What to speak of seeing the Lord, such a devotee, such a pure soul, when it comes to the platform of pure devotional service, such a person experiences such ecstatic symptoms simply by chanting the name of the Lord. What to speak of seeing the Lord personally? Yes. And yes, dear devotees, eternal happiness means devotional service, and devotional service means reciprocation of the Lord. This is not theory. This is not even, we cannot even say practical. It is practical actually, but neither is it theory and neither is it only practical. This is realization. Realization. No one can preach devotional service. No one can practice devotional service throughout their lives without having practical, without having reciprocation, practical reciprocation from Shri Krishna. Yes. These devotees, Srila Prabhupada, who is preaching Krishna consciousness, devotees, other devotees also who are preaching Krishna consciousness, everyone has experienced reciprocation from Krishna, realization from Krishna. And one day, we have firm faith, we will see Krishna face to face. That is eternal happiness. That is eternal happiness, dear devotees. Again, we should not put ourselves into distress. Let's not be bewildered by the seasons. Are we bewildered by seasons? We're not bewildered by seasons. We know that the year is going to start in January, it's going to be cold. Then spring comes, then the summer comes, and winter is expected to come again. Similarly, in our lives, these seasons will go. We should not be bewildered. The seasons will come and go. Let us expect them to come and go. Like we expect January to be cold and August to be warm. Let us expect ourselves to go through many things in life. Let us expect everything to be the mercy of Krishna. Yes. And then, when we can come to this platform, then we can really be concerned with what is worth being concerned for, which is gaining eternal happiness, re-establishing that lost relationship with Sri Bhagavan, which can give us eternal bliss, eternal knowledge, eternal happiness, and eternal residence, eternal enjoyment with the Lord. With the Lord. Yes, that is guaranteed. That is guaranteed by the Lord himself. Sri Bhagavan in the Bhagavad-gītā says, Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. That such a place is there in the association of Krishna, that Yad gatva, that where you go, na nivartante, that such a place is there where you can go and you will never come back. Such a place is there, such an experience is there, dear devotees, where you can get eternal happiness and never come out. That is the association of the Lord. That is Vaikuntha. That is Goloka Vrindavan. The name Vaikuntha itself, the Lord is said to reside in Vaikuntha. The name Vaikuntha itself means Vaikuntha. Kuntha means anxiety, distress, material suffering, any type of suffering. Tapatraya vinashaya. All these types of suffering are destroyed in the association of the Lord. The name of the Dham, or the residence of the Lord itself, is Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha. Such a place where one goes, such a place where one can experience, such an experience one can get where there is no anxiety, nothing, absolutely nothing, only pure bliss, pure enjoyment, pure relishment. Yes, that such a place is there. Such a place is there. Such a place is approachable. It is not that Krishna is so far. No, Krishna is very close. Happiness, eternal bliss it's not something that you have to do a lot of sadhana for. No, simply engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Yes, tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. By doing intensely the devotional service of Krishna, especially by chanting his holy name, one can achieve transcendental happiness in the transcendental association of the Lord and his devotees. Yes. And Srila Prabhupada in that purport in the the verse in the 7th canto that we just discussed, Srila Prabhupada says that the best form of human life, the best use of human life, therefore lies in reviving our relationship with the Supreme Lord. The best use. Because the material happiness and distress we go through, if we simply become bewildered with that does not help us in the future. We're just going to continue going through that, whether it be throughout this life and even in the next life. It does not guarantee us liberation from this if we simply become concerned with that. Therefore, yes, we may go through anything in life. We may have already gone through so much in life. But now the problem is, or now the solution is that let us do something to rise above. Let us do something so we don't have to experience this again. Therefore, the best use of human life is to revive our relationship with the Lord. Yes. Know the Lord as Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. Recognize the Lord in his opulence. Recognize the Lord again in his sweetness. 2 things we have to do. Recognize our eternal relationship with that Lord, who is eternally ours, but we have simply forgotten. Yes, we have simply forgotten. Actually, it is like having an Alzheimer's disease, not a disease. We are forgotten. We have forgotten. We've had this. Spiritually, we have Alzheimer's, all of us. Krishna, it's very sad. We've seen, when someone does go through this Alzheimer's, even the closest, the most loved ones, one starts forgetting. Dear devotees, Krishna is the closest to us. We are actually from him. We are parts and parcels of him. So we are like, there can be no one more close to us than him. He loves us unconditionally because we are parts and parcels of him. We are only simply suffering from this spiritual Alzheimer's disease. We are forgotten. We have forgotten Krishna, who is our eternal, lovable, most blissful, most attractive Lord. Yes. Let us rise. Let us take the medicine of devotional service. Let us take the medicine of bhakti. Let us take the medicine of sadhu sangha, devotee association. Let us take the medicine of prasada. Let us take the medicine of kirtana to cure us of this spiritual Alzheimer's that we are facing. Yes, it's not good to be in a diseased form. It is not something that we should be proud of. It is something that we need to rise above of. Yes, we should be disease free, materially and spiritually. Let us again reestablish our relationship with the Lord. Yes. Just to finish things off, Bhakti Vinod Thakur has written a very beautiful bhajan in Bengali, which goes like this. Manasa deho geho jo kichu mora arpilu tua pade Nanda Kishora. What is Bhakti Vinod Thakur saying? Manasa deho geho jo kichu mora arpilu tua pade Nanda Kishore. My Lord, my mind I offer at your lotus feet. My body I offer at your lotus feet. My everything that I claim to be mine in this world, whether that be my family, my assets, my earnings, everything. Arpilu tua pade Nanda Kishore. O youthful son of Maharaj Nanda, Shri Krishna, I offer everything at your lotus feet. And in that same verse, in that same song, there's a verse which is so beautiful and so relevant to what we talked about. He says, Kita janama ho jatha tu adasha bahir mukha brahma janme nahi asha. What is being said here is Kita janama ho jatha tu adas and bahir mukha brahma janme nahi as. In this specific verse, Bhakti Vinod Thakur is allowing us to recognize that happiness is not material. It can never be material, like we discussed. Either it's suffering or happiness, both in this material world are ultimately causes of distress. Bhakti Vinod Thakur here is expressing such a transcendental position. Kita janam ho jatha tu adas. My Lord, if I am your servant, if I am engaged in your service, which results in pure bliss, pure happiness, if I am engaged there, then no matter if I am a kita, if you give me birth as a small insect, I shall be happy. Bhakti Vinod Thakur is recognizing this. In devotional service, the most uncomfortable situation becomes comfortable. Kita janam. Having birth, imagine dear devotees, having birth as an insect, how difficult life would be. But Bhakti Vinod Thakur is ultimately expressing that, my Lord, if I can perform your devotional service, which itself results in eternal happiness and bliss, even as a form, in the form of a kita, in the form of an insect, I prefer that over what? Bahir mukha brahma janme nahi as. If I am averse to your devotional service, but you give me the platform of being Brahma, I will reject that. That is the platform, dear devotees, which we have to reach. Yes. We must realize that even in the most materially uncomfortable situations, devotional service can relieve us. Devotional service can give us solace. And even in the most comfortable of material situations, we cannot relish true happiness. That is what we have to learn. That is what Krishna is expressing to Arjuna in this verse, that the non-permanent appearances of happiness and distress in this life are changing always like the seasons. And one who is learned, one who is tolerant will not be disturbed. And the next step is to one who engages in devotional service of Sri Bhagavan will gain that eternal happiness that we are longing for, birth after birth, life after life. Thank you very much for joining. We are very grateful that we could do this satsanga, this discussion of such wonderful topics, especially on the auspicious day of Ekadashi, Putradaya Ekadashi. If anyone has any questions, any comments, any concerns, we would be delighted to discuss. Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we're good to go. Thank you very much for joining. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, there's a question in the chat.
Okay, sorry. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, how can we love and care for our parents by not being detached? That goes for anything material, any material engagement. The ultimate goal should be, of course, to not become detached. To become detached, to not become attached. In terms of our parents, since that is such a close bodily relationship that we have, it is difficult. Yes, it is very difficult. But connected with Krishna, yes, connected with Krishna. There was a great devotee named Pundalika of Bhagavan Shri Vitthal in Maharashtra. There was a devotee whom the Lord personally came for. And he was in the service of his parents, and the Lord was so pleased. And the Lord was so pleased that he waited for Pundalika to finish his service to his parents, and he assumed the form of Vitthala. What does that? What does Vitthala mean? Pundalik, when the Lord came to see him, Pundalik simply threw what do you call a vita. In Maharashtra it's called a vita, but it is a brick. He threw a brick. And he said, the Lord, you can stand on this. Let me just finish my service to the parents. Okay. Like that, the Lord was so pleased with the service. The Lord was so pleased with the service that the Lord stood on that brick for him. And till date, that deity of the Lord is there in Pandharpur, Maharashtra. So like that, if we, the mood of Pundalika was that his service to his parents is also his service to the Lord. Mata pita mein guru bhav karke. To understand your parents, to be grateful to your parents for giving you opportunities or support that engage you in Krishna consciousness. With that mood, again, we were also discussing on Sunday how we have to connect everything to Krishna. If you can connect your service to your parents with Krishna, that will also become devotional service. Yes. But you should be concerned also, not simply satisfying their body, not simply doing what is good for their body. Give them opportunities to uplift their soul. And if they cannot do it, you do things for them which can uplift their soul, to connect to Krishna. Now the center becomes Krishna. It is not you simply satisfying their body, because how long will you satisfy the body, and how long will this body be satisfied? Whether that be in the matters of massaging their feet or feeding them nice foodstuffs, everything is temporary. Although we have to do that also, but we must also serve them in a way that they can get eternal bliss, eternal happiness, and they can also be eternally liberated in the service of Bhagavan Shri Krishna. In that way, if we serve them, that becomes our devotional service to Krishna also. Okay, I hope that answered your question. Hare Krishna. Jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.